Seahawks rookies are well into their first week of training camp, and there is news regarding some veterans as they get set to report to camp Friday. Let's bring in Gregg Bell of the News Tribune, who is fresh off a flight from Detroit, the Paris of the Midwest. And if you think I'm kidding, look it up. Greg, thank you for leaving Paris and joining us on the program.
Did you say Detroit was the Paris?
Look it up, Chris.
Is that?
That's right.
Yeah.
There's statues of LaSalle and Cadillac. And
you know
yes.
it.
I've been to Paris. I've been to Detroit. I don't know, guys.
Chris, discovered by a French explorer back in the day. So there you go. Detroit. All right. Let's get some Seahawks news. Hey, Greg, Nick Eamon-Warry has been put on the PUP list with an undisclosed injury. What can you tell us about this move?
Well, until this morning, a lot of people thought the PUP list is what you put dogs on or puppies out at the. Here's what the PUP list is. It's really an injury list light. It's because they still count against the 90-man roster. That's an indication the team thinks they're going to get back to practice sooner than later. The other stipulation is key about the physically unable to perform list is that if you start training camp on it, you can come off of it at any time. So as soon as he and anybody on the PUP list passes a physical, they can practice. Now, when players report to training camp, the first thing they do, besides put their bags down and get to their locker, is take a physical exam. You can't nobody, Sam Darnold, nobody. Whether you're injured or not, you have to take a physical by NFL rules in order to practice first day of your practice of training camp. So if you don't pass that physical, you have to go on some kind of list, or else you aren't deemed, when you're not deemed ready to practice. So it's really a not ready to practice list. The PUP list rules are such that he can come back at any time. It's really a list to keep, in this case, Eamon-Warry from hurting himself, protecting him from himself. Remember, he had the low ankle sprain 4 days before the Super Bowl. Mike McDonald said that night in San Jose, the Wednesday night before the Sunday Super Bowl, he couldn't sleep because he thought Eamon-Warry was going to miss the game because of that injury he got in that practice. Miraculously, he came back to practice 2 days later on Friday. Of course, we saw him play 70 to 72 snaps on Sunday in the Super Bowl. He said in June, when I asked him, so there were no lingering effects after the Super Bowl from this ankle? And he said, well, I had to do a lot of rehab, but that he said it is good to go and that it was all fine. I think, guys, that you're just protecting him from himself. And it wouldn't surprise me if we see him a few days into camp. And for the first few days, they're not in pads anyway. It's just basically mini camp with a different title.
Well, I mean, in the video we're showing there, Greg, that's him at OTAs and the mini camp.
Right.
So, I mean, the concern level from you seems pretty low on this then.
Yeah, it's low.
Okay.
Not so with a guy like Kenny McIntosh, for instance, who's coming off a knee reconstruction and multiple torn knee ligaments 12 months ago, who's also on the physically unable to perform. They're different degrees of this. Players who begin training camp on the PUP list are eligible, if they stay on it throughout the preseason, to begin the regular season on the PUP list, which would mean that player would miss the first 4 games. There's no sign at all that Eamon-Warry is going to have any of that. It wouldn't surprise me, guys, if the first couple days, maybe first week of practice, he's back. I really do think they're just trying to protect him from himself and not go too hard, too fast in July and early August on that ankle. He'll be there September 9th when they play the Patriots. That's the bottom line. And this designation doesn't change that.
All right. Hey, when we talked to you earlier in the summer, you were pretty confident. I think I was pretty confident, too. Devin Witherspoon would have a new contract in the early days of training camp. We're not there yet. Where is your confidence level now? You think the Seahawks are going to make him the NFL's highest paid cornerback still?
I do. $31 million a year. John Schneider's MO is, Chris, as you know, is to do this within the first days, plus or minus start of training camp. July 25th, Saturday, is the first practice of camp. The Seahawks with their foundational players, go back to Bobby Wagner, Russell Wilson, Richard Sherman. They've done that within 5 days or so of the first few days of training camp. Some people have asked, well, the ownership change and the pending sale and the fact that August 26th is a vote date for the NFL owners to approve the Seahawks sale to the Kozlov family, whether that would change. No, this has been budgeted for. The salary cap is a fixed price no matter who owns your team. They have already decided how much they're going to give them. The devil is in the details of guaranteed money. That's the currency that especially players on their first contract after being drafted, that's what makes them think. And that's what they negotiate with. That's what the agent gets his commission money for, is negotiating when the guaranteed money comes due how much of the total contract value is guaranteed, how much of it is guaranteed against injury in 12 months versus upfront, cash in pocket, how much is the signing bonus that the team can spread across the length of the deal. Those details are why it's not done yet. I don't think this will be something that drags into August. He's a foundational player. Mike McDonald cannot imagine his defense without it, and they're not going to let him start his contract year without a new deal.
Hey, staying with the contract talk, Leonard Williams is in the final year of his deal. How much urgency is there to get Leo a new contract?
Now, see, that's a different deal, Paul, because Witherspoon's in his mid-20s entering his rookie year. This is going to be, fourth contract if he signs it for Williams, who's going to be 34 years old by the time his contract ends. That is a different situation. And I think Leonard Williams has been around the block long enough, including both New York teams, to realize the situation he's in his career. The Seahawks aren't necessarily going to dump right in right now before his last year and when he's 33, 34 years old. So I don't see the urgency certainly to do it now. That's not saying that they won't, but there's a lot of business sense for John Schneider in the football side to wait and see how if he stays healthy like he has the last couple of years for the Seahawks, and does he want to play again? He's got a young family. He's recently married. He's got a young family. He's trying to start his life and thinking about life after football. When you get into your 33, 34, 35, guys start thinking about that. He's won now the Super Bowl that had eluded him for his first 11 years in the league. I think this is a wait and see on both sides. I'm not sure there's the urgency that some people on the outside think. It's not saying that they don't value him, but when you start pushing 33, 34, 35 years old on the line of scrimmage in the NFL, teams aren't just going to jump right into that, no sweat.
All right, let's keep with the money talk. Quarterback Sam Darnold has a contract, average annual value of $33 million, ranks him 15th among quarterback salaries. Does Sam need to have another strong season to warrant a new deal, or has he done enough, Greg, to say, you know what, show me the money?
I think he's done enough already. I mean, hell, he won the Super Bowl. There's only one other quarterback in 50 years of Seahawks football that's ever done that. But when I asked John Schneider at the Combine in Indianapolis at the end of February, hey, what about Sam Darnold now that he's won a Super Bowl? And he looked at me and said, Greg, he's got another 2 more years left on his deal. Like, you know how we do business around here. The implicit message is we don't do deals until they start, the foundation guys, until they're entering the final year of their deal. It's a 3-year deal for Darnold. In fact, the quote that Schneider said to me was, you know, he signed a 3-year deal, right? He's only 1 year into it. Yep, got it, sure. So that's how they operate. Look for this to happen next year. If he has another Super Bowl type of season, great. Then his money goes to the top of the league, in the top echelon, and we're talking 40, 50 million a year. But guys, as great as this last season was, he led the league in turnovers. If he just cuts his turnovers down a little bit from out of the 20s, think how much more efficient and how many more points this offense is going to score, no matter who the running back is. If you're not giving the other team the ball on the wrong side of the field or at midfield and you're scoring instead of giving the ball away, you're going to win and you're going to score points no matter how the running game goes. That's Sam Darnold's job this year. And I know there were different factors besides just Darnold's for the faults on some of those turnovers. But my point is, I don't think we in Seattle should say he's a top 3 NFL quarterback just because he won the Super Bowl. He's only on a 1 year into a 3-year deal. And let's face it, before these last 2 years, Sam Darnold was a journeyman quarterback who had not been able to string years like that together, or else 5 teams wouldn't have cut him. So let's see. Let's pump the brakes a little bit on what his value is league-wide. Yeah, he's undervalued for having just won a Super Bowl, but he's also only in year 1 of his 3-year deal.
Makes sense. All right, as we said, Darnold and the veterans report to camp Friday. Rookies are already in camp. Head coach Mike McDonald said he wants to utilize first-round pick Jadarian Price as much as possible, carry the load at running back, possible return man on special teams. Do you like that aggressive approach from McDonald?
I do, because, first of all, the number one path to any rookie running back, not first-round pick through undrafted free agent, is in the pass game. Pass blocking, pass receiving, that's the NFL way. Running backs up to this point, if you're a stud running back in college football, it's because you run the ball. In the NFL, you need to do it on 3rd down. It's why George Halani stuck as an undrafted rookie out of Boise State a few years ago, because of his prowess catching the ball and most certainly pass blocking. Those are the areas that Price himself admits he needs to be better at. Remember, he was the backup at Notre Dame. So Love was the lead back, and he was getting some of those third down conversions and pass catching opportunities. That wasn't so much for Price. So Price admits that the pass game is where he needs to catch up and grow the most. And they gave him every opportunity in OTAs and minicamps. I was on the sidelines watching him catch pass after pass after pass. Almost seemed like every scrimmage session in the spring practices started with a swing pass to Price or getting him out in space. It may be something of a committee at running back to begin the season. Alani, we mentioned that Kenny McIntosh might not be back right away. Emmanuel Wilson, they signed a 500-yard back from Green Bay to a low-cost, low-risk one-year deal. They want to see what they have in him, a bigger bruiser type of a back. But Price is going to be the number one guy, whether that's first day of training camp or not. They didn't draft him in the first round to have him sit in the job share and behind guys. If he catches the ball in pass blocks in training camp, he'll be the bona fide, no doubt, first start, not running back at opening day.
Yeah, and I think he's going to become a big star in HBO Hard Knocks as well. Hey, Gregg,
Yes.
There is a lot of speculation about upgrades, possible upgrades to Lumen Field. They had grass installed for the World Cup, and Julian Love has advocated, here you go, for keeping that real grass over the artificial turf. I'm going to be honest, we started the show with talking about our lawns are dry right now. It's hard to keep our grass green. Is that even a possibility considering the cost of maintenance of a grass field and all the events at Lumen?
Yeah, I think it's a possibility, Chris. Pittsburgh does it. Cleveland does it. Chicago does it. Those aren't exactly tropical locales of green, lush grass in December and January. It's about the owners wanting to spend the money to replace. Pittsburgh goes through 2 or 3 grass fields in a season. Now they have a pit play there, the college team. They have high school championship games that Lumen Field doesn't have. The only reason Lumen Field doesn't have grass, and remember when Paul Allen promised Lumen Field back in the late 90s, he mentioned grass as one of our priorities. He wanted a grass field that both football and soccer could play on. But then the lure of being able to have revenue-producing events like truck pulls and Taylor Swift concerts and everything else beside football on top of a grass field or a turf field rather than replacing a grass field, the lure of that is, and of course the climate is why we have the turf field. The World Cup showed the NFL Players Association that maybe they should go battle a little bit harder against owners and spend their money. The only reason we don't have grass fields in every one of the 32 stadiums is because the Players Association hasn't made it a collective bargaining agreement issue. If they go in the CBA negotiation at the end of this decade and say, that's it, all grass fields or we ain't signing, then you'd see some movement. Billionaires become billionaires and own NFL teams because they keep their billions, not because they spend their billions, because they keep every corner of that $1 billion they can keep. It's an easy savings of money if no one's requiring you to have a grass field if you don't want one. I don't buy the argument you can't have it here. They're billionaires. They have money. They have grass technology. There's Arizona and Las Vegas and deserts put grass fields in on trays for game days. It's possible to have grass at Lumen Field. I think that's one of the places the new owners could make an immediate impact if they wanted to. Julian Love is interesting to talk about that because he's active in Players Association union issues. He knows the union head and leadership. They're making this a big issue, banging the drum since the World Cup. Another Lumen Field improvement, guys, that I think it would be, I won't say easy, but a pretty direct thing for the new owners to do is putting permanent seats in on the north side, the downtown side next to the Hawks Nest. Of course, we know that's the open side of the stadium, but if you wanted to bump capacity up to, say, 70,000, which is the threshold that hosts the Super Bowl, if you wanted to quickly raise in-stadium revenue, the local revenue that owners can keep, not the shared revenue like licensing and media rights that the 32 teams share, you could increase revenue in the stadium pretty easily by just closing that north end and making those permanent stands and up a couple more thousand seats. That's another possibility.
There's so much to take from that answer. Number one, just that it's a possibility for grass, because I've been told from others it wasn't. So I love hearing that answer from you, Gregg.
It's possible if they listen to players, Chris.
Yeah, no, I love it. Number 2, Paul, on that list, I got Gregg has truck pulls over Taylor Swift. I don't know if you heard that, but he had that higher.
I caught it.
Don't tell my daughter that. I actually think Taylor Swift is more talented than any truck puller, but I'm sorry.
Yeah, but to your point, man, they have a lot of events there for sure. So it'll be interesting how they kind of navigate through that in the coming years for sure.
Chris, you're killing me. Nobody who likes Taylor Swift's ever going to listen or read me anymore. You just outed me. I love Taylor Swift.
I want to confirm Gregg is a big Taylor Swift fan, everyone.
Listen,
exactly.
Gregg has been up since midnight Pacific time as he flew back from Detroit. He got on this show just minutes after he landed, which is so awesome.
Yeah.
And if you look at the way Gregg is dressed right now with his headphones on and his hat, and he looks like he told us that people were stopping him, asking him questions over there at the airport. Are you going to be all right? But did you have any answers for them?
No, I said it's hot and take light rail. That's pretty much what my answer was.
Well,
it was I appreciate you. Anything for you guys, man.
Listen, man, we can tell from all your inside football that you're nowhere near an employee at the airport. So thank you, Gregg.
We do have that one more question, Gregg, because Softy was on the show yesterday. We want a top 5 media members that are going to really stick out on HBO Hard Knocks, and you were on the list, Gregg. Softy had you on the top 5.
Stick it out for what?
Well, just somebody the fans are going to enjoy following every episode.
I will say that there isn't a soul, including my wife, who would tune into Hard Knocks to watch the media and the journalists on the sideline. So no chance of that. I'm going to run and hide when the cameras are around.
All right, just so we know, there's been an update for Hard Knocks as well. The first episode is going to air on August 4th and not August 11th. So they're pushing that up a bit. And
it's because Mike McDonald wants them to come in as much as he wants them to come into his living room. He wants them to air extra episodes. He wants all this, and he wants all the sport. Yeah, he loves this. He absolutely loves this.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. He's all for it.